So when I heard about Charlie Kirk's event where he was at a university in Utah, and I heard about what had happened with him being shot, I had this fear, and my stomach dropped, and my heart began to ache. I kind of went into a little panic to myself, and I continued to surf the net to check on his status and check on whether or not if he was okay, as if he was somebody that I knew personally, like a brother. I never met him, I never knew him, but what I did know is that he was a man of faith. He was a man who was a Christian practicing his faith. I knew he was a father, a husband. I knew he was a person. And he was somebody that myself and many millions of people looked up to as a great example of somebody who is willing to step up to the plate and stand up for what is right and what is correct and what is factual, morally right. I mean, he has many, I would say, debates, conflicts, interactions with a lot of people where all he was doing was he was a man who was speaking the facts and telling the truth and debated people on that. You can't, I guess the best way of saying this is a lot of people hated the idea of losing a debate when you're wrong. You don't win against something that's the truth, ever. And for a man to lose his life over telling the truth and debating and winning because he's telling the truth is wrong. What happened was corrupt. And, well, since I heard, I've been praying for his family, and I can't imagine what that loss would be like. I've been praying for the loss for everybody who was hurting. I've never felt sadness for somebody I really didn't know. It's hard to really feel that, but I did when I heard the news of him passing. Um, what I do know is that his message was clear. What he was fighting for was clear, and his movement does not stop. People like myself and many other people in this world will continue to speak his truth and fight the fight. And a few days before the tragic event with Charlie Kirk, I was actually driving, and I thought to myself, well, this is the the type of work and the type of self-educating is what Charlie Kirk does, right? So I actually was looking at him as an inspiration to the direction in my own life, and I thought to myself, okay, this is what he's doing. He teaches himself, he learns how to be articulate, he learns how to be accurate, truthful, respectful, and kind. And he continues to involve his family with regular, I would say, I can't even say regular because I don't know, but from what I've learned and what I've watched with his videos is his house has order, right? You can see that he brings Christ and his faith into his household. He respects his woman. He is a father. He's present, and he's leading by example. That is something I do know, based upon what I've been watching, based upon what I've seen. And if that's so, that's true. And he was an inspiration to myself. I can't speak for others, but for me, he was. I thought to myself, if he's able to do it, so can I. And I loved his courage to stand up for what was factual and what was right and moral standards according to the Bible. And I back that 100%. And so it was quite heavy, heartbreaking, and brought a lot of anger to myself um, to read the news of him passing away. So the message is clear. Myself, and I'm sure there's plenty of others, is the fight will continue. The movement going forward does not stop. Message from us and us people and everyone who has morals, everyone who has respect and kindness for people, and for everybody who's not afraid to step up to the plate to speak the truth. And so that's that. And I want to continue to spread the love for everybody and, prayers for everybody who continues to feel hurt from this and who will continue to hurt going forward, including myself and most of all his family. So the fight doesn't stop. His messages, his reels, his podcast, everything that he had done and he had worked on will continue to be forwarded, and his messages will continue to be spread. And I know myself will be continue to do so, and everyone else who believes in what he was doing will continue to do so. So message received. Me and my wife have been kind of exchanging, our thoughts and what we have been doing in results of Charlie Kirk. And one of the things that we've been taking action on is we've noticed that people that we have on our friends list or people that we tend to follow have unfortunate responses talking about unsympathetic responses or not taking consideration that a man who spoke the truth and who articulated and who was kind, how they have little care and a lot of disregard for his life. And we've been defriending a lot of people and unfollowing multiple people because of that. And we stand on that because you have to have a heart. A person who does not care for human life, shame on you. Whether or not if you know the person, shame on you. Be good, be kind. Treat people fairly. Be kind to people. Respect. And it's a damn shame. I feel relieved whenever I continue to see people who support Charlie and his movement, because it's really nice to know that what he was fighting for is working amongst a multi-platform with multiple people, because he was sharing the truth, sharing what was morally correct and right and the correct way to run a household. Respect, kindness, and running a household with God and Jesus Christ and with faith. And I had been following Charlie Kirk for quite some time, and I've loved every single piece of what he's done. And I've always told my wife, hey, check this out, look, watch this. So everything that he's said and everything that he's done has been heard. The moment that he started, it's not stopping. This goes for all of you, those of you who continue to, well, have some feelings and care for the things that we should be caring for, and a correct household that we should all want, or at least pursue. Um, I thought to myself, how do I help and how do I contribute to this movement because I want to? Not for something for hype, not for clout like people say, but because it was correct and because it's right. Because it's the most humane thing to do. And so if myself and others could be somebody who is able to speak up and contribute to his movement, well, the solution I could continue to come up with is continue to share his word, continue to better yourself. And one thing that was quite encouraging that I had noticed that me and my household that we're doing is that we really encourage teaching our children how to think rather than what to think, right? And also, obviously, it's right from wrong, according to the Bible and to our uh, faith and practice with practice as Christianity. You know, believe in Jesus Christ and God Himself, and you know that's important in households to teach them what is true. And when watching Charlie Kirk's content, he mentioned that education is doing things incorrect, or I'm paraphrasing at this point, but he says instead of education teaching your children what to think, teach them how to think, and to see what he was posting and what he was talking about was quite encouraging our household, because I thought to myself, man, we're doing that already. Great. This is exactly what we should be doing. Um, it's quite. It gives a family clarity, especially when there's no instructions, and especially since when you're a family who's trying to figure it out and navigate it and trying to raise kind and good human beings, that was quite delightful to see. I can imagine that myself and others were feeling the same way, right? I had thought to myself, wow, I feel angry, um, bitter, and I want to seek revenge. And why? Well, he's one of the good ones. He's somebody who's standing up for something that is right. He's somebody who's having the courage to have conflict and have interaction and have conversation with people. And that's some of the hardest things to do in general, because there's not a lot of people who could sit there and have a conversation, especially a hard one, right? To have debates, it's very hard to do. And he was one of the good ones. And I didn't know him. I wish I would have met him. And I felt this heavy weight on my heart and my stomach, and couldn't really explain it. But I felt all of that. And even though that's what I feel, I'm not going to act out on any of those emotions. But what can we do as people, and what can we do as individuals who believe in what he believes, and those who want to amplify his message? Well, We continue to practice and keep our houses in order. Continue to spread kindness towards people and continue to respect and be resilient and continue to have the courage to stand up to people even when you're scared, and also continue to increase your faith with God and Jesus Christ, and with your knowledge towards the Bible, and continuing to be better and stepping up to the plate when you're called. That's what I think. That's the best way that we could continue to stand up and go forward and continue to keep the movement going and to continue to amplify his messages. Yeah, that's what we do.